So overall, Donald Trump is ecstatic with the state of affairs right now. He's going to do State of the Union tonight. And Howard Feynman writing at NBC News saying that the president is now finally gotten into a groove, in his own mind at least, and is beginning to enjoy his time as president. He thinks the tax cuts for the rich were wonderful. The stock market is doing well. So he thinks he's on top of the world. Now, the reality is his polling is disastrous. It's in the mid-30s, the worst of any president at this point in their tenure. But he doesn't see it. And even with the White House, which he initially was not impressed with, now he says, quote, "I love this place." He's settling in. Okay, he apparently adores flying on Air Force One. It's a toy, he's a child. A friend of Donald Trump explains he loves all the pomp and circumstance and the salutes. Total man-child. Okay, now the important part of the story, which is what he plans to do with Robert Mueller. First of all, in a full state of delusion, thinking that he's on top of the world, he thinks Mueller's got nothing. He says, keeps telling some in his circle that Mueller, any day now, will tell him that he's off the hook for any charge of collusion with the Russians or obstruction of justice. Wow. After that investigation, and Mueller has already gotten plea deals, convictions. He's gotten a number of people in the Trump campaign to flip on Donald Trump, including Mike Flynn. And this guy in the White House is going around like, ha ha, I'm winning. I'm getting tired of winning. I bet Mueller just gives up. He is so delusional. It is amazing. So now, though, here comes the troubling part. He thinks that not only Mueller's got nothing, but he has a plan B for if he does have something. One more on why he thinks Mueller's not going to get him. He's decided that a key witness in the Russia probe, Paul Manafort, isn't going to, quote, flip and sell him out, friends and aides say. I mean, look at that quote, first of all. That means if Manafort did flip, they could get Trump. But he thinks, it's okay, he's not going to flip. Okay, what does Manafort have on Donald Trump? By the way, a guy who might be flipping as we speak is longtime colleague of Manafort, who was also arrested along with him, Rick Gates. There's a story out earlier this week about how Gates is now getting special privileges that Manafort is not getting. Interesting. Okay, good. I'm glad that Donald Trump thinks that everything's hunky-dory. But the plan B is what's disturbing. He believes Robert Mueller, who heads the investigation, can be crushed if necessary without being fired. So how would that work? Well, okay, firing him is a bad idea. He's now been convinced that it's a bad idea and it would backfire on him politically. That's good news. His new plan for Mueller turns out is even worse. Instead, as is now becoming plain, the Trump strategy is to discredit the investigation and the FBI without officially removing the leadership. Trump is even talking to friends about the possibility of asking Attorney General Jeff Sessions to consider prosecuting Mueller and his team. Wow. So think about that. There's two components to it. One is, no, that's okay, I don't have to fire him. I could just arrest him. How is that better? That's worse. He's amazing. He's so oblivious. You don't think arresting the special counsel investigating you might also cause a political debacle? He thinks, oh no, I got this thing figured out. We don't fire him. We just put him in a dungeon or something. And I bet nobody will say anything. I figured it out. It's stunning. Every day, it's amazing. You find out that he's even dumber than you expected. Who thinks that wouldn't cause political trouble? But the second component is scarier. What if he does it and the Republicans flush with the donor cash? Now that they gave the donors trillions of dollars in tax cuts, go, you're right, arresting your political opponents, arresting the prosecutor investigating you would be the most un-American, unconstitutional thing we have ever seen in America, but we don't care. We got the money. Who cares? Arrest them. Well, then we've lost democracy, and then we're in a world of pain because this country is going to be more deeply divided than you have ever seen. If he goes down that path, that is a super dark path. One more quote about this from NBC News. An advisor to Trump said, so this is someone who has talked to Trump about this. Here's how it would work. We're sorry, Mr. Mueller, you won't be able to run the federal grand jury today because he has to go testify to another federal grand jury. They're thinking of arresting Bob Mueller. Wow. That is On a scale of 1 to 10, that is an 11 on the insanity scale. And it leads this country into a place where we would have a full-blown constitutional crisis, and I have no idea what the outcome of that will be. Very, very scary. You just watched a video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.